What's up, everybody? Happy day 2 of working on the E55 AMG. Both hoods up. They're not both broken. That's a good thing already. So, got some updates for you. I'll show you what's going on. I've started pulling off the easy plastics just to take a look at everything. I don't know what the cardboard is there for, but I know there's a couple mods in here, and I've figured out what the tank in the trunk is. It's definitely not methanol. I thought it's not because these lines are way too huge. This is the cooling system for the supercharger. From the factory, they link the cooling for the supercharger and the engine coolant together. Way too hot because this thing will overheat. The supercharger pulley uses a clutch system, so you can see that spins freely. Uses a clutch system, and if the car is too hot or the coolant is too hot, it pulls timing and it lessens the boost. You don't want that. I measured, this is like a 74 millimeter pulley, so it's reduced for sure from factory. And so, cool thing I figured out. This snout on the supercharger has been upgraded. So a factory throttle body, which I just, a day ago quickly ordered on Amazon, will not fit. How can I verify that without opening that box? Looking at this gasket, I put it up here, and this gasket is way too small. So I think this is a 74 mil, maybe even smaller. So it's not going to fit. But I'll measure it just to make sure. Let's do that. Yep, so just like we thought, it's about 76 millimeters. So it would fit the 74 millimeter throttle body, which is the factory size. With a little bit of research and YouTube videos of just people modifying these, one of the first mods everyone does is slap a 82 or 84 millimeter throttle body on it off of the newer SL55s. And you bump like 20-30 horsepower easily, including with a tune. Or people go with the Hellcat throttle body. It's a big hunker. It comes with an adapter and stuff. But overall, I think that's exactly what's been done here. I measured this hole. I think it's like 89 mil. And so I'm going to guess the throttle body that I ordered from like a performance shop. There's, I think, one in particular that everyone uses, VRS or something, VRM. It's going to be here in a day or two. And I'm pretty confident that one will fit. So overall, I guess took a little bit of, trial and error, guess and check, but we should be running soon. What I'm inspecting here is this is the breather hoses that come in here and go to a T, and then they get sucked back in. So I'm going to actually order an oil catch can and plumb these up through the catch can, because you know me and catch cans go way back. This looks like a loose end. I might get like a boost gauge. I might even have one, just a mechanical one, for the time being initially, to see what kind of boost this thing is running. And we're also going to figure out, there's like a OBD2 connector device or cords already in the car that the previous owner had. I connected it. I turned on Bluetooth on my phone. Nothing showed up, but there's like these connectors of some sort, and I don't know what kind of tuning software they use, so we're going to kind of reverse engineer all that. But check out this interior. This is a upgraded steering wheel. I think out of a C63 has the way cooler paddles. Check this out. Engine start stop on the shifter, or you can just twist the key all the way, but how cool is that? And something that I've learned, this car had a very awesome feature, which is the distance, or whatever they call it, distronic, where you can control how closely you follow the car in front of you. So we're definitely going to be testing if that works. Of course, the height control, none of that will work anymore. It's on coilovers now. Airbags are long gone. It's not going to lift it. It would be cool to use these buttons for something else. I don't know if anyone's ever done that. Parking assist, park control. Overall, pretty clean car. I mean, yeah, the trim is like this wood trim. I think people do like a carbon fiber style. But check out the burgundy seats. Those are sick. So yeah, I also see some kind of OBD2 device. V1. Here we go. Here is a start, I guess, for my search. We're gonna start looking at what this V1 box is and go from there. So I guess here's how the cooling, supercharger cooling setup works. There's usually a H-style connector that goes from the cooling lines of the car. Presumably that's like, you know, from the expansion tank here. And it connects the radiator system to the cooler for the supercharger. You can split those into two separate systems because the supercharger cooler has its own electric water pump down here under the bumper. And that's where these two lines are running. So I presume what they're doing is they're putting it in series with the tank in the trunk. So it'll go through the cooler. I think the bottom cooler is for oil. The top cooler is for the supercharger. And so you can throw ice in that bucket. I know a lot of people place it here. This is a cabin filter. So this easily pops off and people put on, you know, that bucket literally right here. But in the trunk is fine. I guess it's even colder in the trunk. And we're gonna just spiffy it up. And we're also going to, I think the previous owner said they just did coil packs. Those look aftermarket. And then spark plugs, so that's a good one. The oil looked pretty good. I'm gonna inspect all these vacuum ends and see what their job is, what their function is. I wonder if these need to be connected to the manifold pressure, because these are technically like bypass valves. So I don't think you just leave these disconnected, or else you're not gonna get charge air released when you get off throttle. We'll see what happens there. Got the car up on some jacks. So I'm looking at how nicely this side skirt is installed, because I need to install the one on the other side. Presumably somebody was trying to probably jack up the car, didn't have a low profile jack, and thus they removed the side skirt. It looks pretty straightforward, but you never know. Hopefully no major plastic clips are broken off and stuff like that. You could take this time to inspect the brakes, calipers. The rotors look smooth. There looks like to be plenty of brake pad left. It's nice and sturdy. The reason it looks kind of rusty-ish is because I've washed it and parked it. Similarly here, plenty of brake disc. So this is the one, I kind of mocked it. It's in pretty good condition, although it was on the ground when I picked up the car. And so I'm gonna mock up how it attaches underneath the car. And then I'm gonna do the other smaller clips front and back and show you how it looks all done. So here's a side skirt refitted. I tried to make use of all the survived clips. Sadly, I know those clips are easy to destroy. I'll probably order some more replacement clips. It'll hold for now, but again, if you step on it nice and hard in the middle, you might kind of get it off of there. So something I also noticed, this door sill came off. Probably the clips broke off of that. So probably need some good adhesive to put it back on there. So I'll do that right now. Cleaned it up with some rubbing alcohol. Gonna get a heat gun on it, put some hardcore double-sided tape and slap it back on here in a second. Little miscellaneous items while I wait for the big parts to arrive. Let's take you under the car. And after looking under here a little bit, I may understand why things were a little bit, ouch, jerry-rigged. Hit myself in the lip. Check this out. Oh yeah, let's just wire up our upgraded fancy water pump for the cooling system like this. And then let's just zip tie 3 O2 sensors on each side like this to the oil pump. Some of those are kinked, some of those have like copper showing, so I need to undo all those zip ties and pretty much straighten things out. For the most part, exhaust looks pretty sweet. Got the long tube headers, runners. It's not crazy wet under here, but there's seepage. These engines, right, the seals over time begin to leak. The top of the engine looks dry. It's just the oil pan. So I'm gonna be spending a good couple minutes cleaning all that up under there and tidying it up, and even just using electrical tape to isolate things and then zip tying it nicely so that when we drive, those things don't cause more issues and problems. I'll catch you on then. All right, I found more exciting shady stuff because Mercedes. So someone, all these connectors to these fancy pants O2 sensors, someone just let them lay on top of the headers. I don't see any wiring. I just see that shielding got burnt in plastic. But yo, like zip tie it out of the way. Heat shield it, I don't know. The factory stuff, factory Mercedes is heat shielded. It's nice and protected. This aftermarket stuff, someone just let it lay here. Genius! My brilliance is frightening. My genius is frightening, as Jeremy Clarkson would say. Okay, our update is I've cleaned up the wiring there. I've isolated away from the headers, the loom. And I've also tried to make sure it's not crazy low profile. Usually this car comes with a, you know, like a cover. Oh, look at this thing. Probably need to zip tie that up. But I've gone over everything. There's no major concerns, but overall, it has some age. The oil pan seepage is common on these M113s. I was more looking for things that were just completely, you know, in shambles. So I'm not thrown off as long as those connectors are still reading the correct O2 sensors and I won't get any strange O2 sensor codes. I'll be fine. I'll monitor it. But let's put the car back down and get back under the hood and see what's going on there. Next order of events, I'm very weirded out by this bumper fitment. And so I was wondering, like, why is it doing that? So I just unscrewed the screw holding it right inside there. Gently started pressing in, but kind of harder. And the fitment's fine. I guess, I honestly don't know who owned this car. And I don't like bashing on people. But you just gotta do things a little slower, I feel like. And the end result will be better. This thing looks sick already. Oh yeah, I gave a little zip tie action to the carbon fiber bashed lip. I'm gonna rock that for now and then most likely upgrade it and then do like the side lips. All right, here's the other side. Way better. Smooth as butter. That's how you want it. This front bumper. Once we get the car running, I'm really excited to get some PDR and buffing done, paint correction, stuff like that. Polishing the headlights. Correcting the wheel alignment. Look at that. Yeah. So, very exciting. Let's put that final couple screws in and call it a night. Put it back on the ground, get a beauty shot.